You watching this video, there's a high chance that you're a Christian, and there's probably an even higher chance that the reason why you're a Christian is because your parents are. But let me ask you a question, and don't worry, mommy and dad are not here. Shut up. Deep down, if you could choose, will you remain a Christian or would you choose a different way of living? Hey guys, and welcome to episode 3 of What's the First About Christianity. If you haven't watched last episode, you can just use the link over here. And so let's get into today's video. I'm going to start with a simple story. You see, it all starts with a young boy who was an orphan, and all his life he has been one. Like since he was born, that's all he knows. That he grew up in the orphanage. Is the people there, the carers, the other kids there. That's all he knew as family. But the usual custom or the way things ran the orphanage was every 2 weeks, then families would come and adopt somebody. So a number of children are adopted every 2 weeks. So then this guy, he was called Matthew, and Matthew was, of course, always very excited about this, and he was thrilled about this moment. So he would prepare, and other kids would prepare so much. They would dress themselves up, be of the best character, comb their hair, do everything. And Matthew was one of the most excited, so he often went the extra mile, making sure he was so ready for this day, and he'll be so well mannered and everything. But the thing was, despite all his readiness and his enthusiasm, he rather was watching all his friends get adopted, and he was the one remaining. But his carers were, encouraging him to just the right person will come, But then, and Matthew was indeed trying to, have faith and hold on. But for the young boy, it became too heartbreaking, and he just stopped believing and stopped hoping that it will happen. He just believed that he will forever be in the orphanage. So one time, he didn't bother dressing up. He just was normal. He left his hair a bit uncombed, and he just sat down at the dining, and he was coloring in his color book. But he didn't know that there was a couple that was in the reception area, and they were observing him from there. But he was just lost in his world of coloring because he liked coloring and stuff like that. But then all of a sudden he felt a tap at his back, which startled him, and he looked up and he saw the couple. They were looking at him, and he introduced themselves, and they asked him if they could go on a walk together. So they went on the walk and they were talking, and Matthew he loosened up and he got comfortable around them, and he enjoyed the conversation. And then as they're heading back into the orphanage, the lady asked him, what do you think of calling me mom? And so for the young boy who is he had totally given up on this dream of ever being adopted, he was just looking at her and he was trying to digest what was going on. And then she called out to him again and asked him a question. Then he was yes, and he hugged her. So finally, he has been adopted, what he has been waiting for so long. So he was happy that he got adopted, and so that as everything he has dreamed of, have a wonderful family who loves you, who cares for you, who will shower you with abundance of love. And so everything all the paperwork was done, and Matthew headed to his new home. So he lived with them, so he was 13 when this happened, and he lived with them for ever since, and they took care of him. They had wonderful moments. He started going to school. He continued going to school because he was going to school in the orphanage already. So that happened, but the thing was, even though they were together, there was still a bit of a distance, which makes sense because this is his first time after 13 years of his life. So it makes sense that he won't fully open up. But the thing is, even after the usual time people expect for you to open up, he still was kind of shut out. And of course, they laughed occasionally, but from time to time, they had some moments together, went out together. But there wasn't, it's he didn't let them pass a certain level in relationship-wise. So that was there, and they tried to come closer and closer, but he wasn't fully letting them go beyond a certain like boundary. So one thing happened when he was 18. He had multiple conversations with his friends as teenagers would have, and they're talking about what their parents are doing and their plans that they have for them, and like different kids are sharing their stories, different exciting stories, and then Matthew is listening and digesting, and then at a point he's like, why isn't this happening to me as well? Why am I not enjoying this kind of privileges that you guys are enjoying? And the more he heard, the more he kept on thinking that probably it's the wrong people that adopted him, and he's not at the right place. And he kept on hearing that. So one day, when his parents came up to his room to like invite him, like to call him down for like they were going somewhere, and then when they knocked a number of times, Matthew wasn't responding. Then they opened the door and Matthew wasn't there anymore. Like he had left. And you see, the thing is, Matthew believed that he was in the wrong place, that the wrong people adopted him, or they didn't care about him enough. But the issue more was that Matthew didn't let them come into his heart enough. He didn't open up to them enough. He didn't let a real relationship be there. It was more of a surface level thing. And Matthew didn't let them understand him better, and he didn't understand them better. So there wasn't much of a bond. And that's why he felt like he was in the wrong place. And the thing is, like Matthew, some of us are in a similar situation towards God. We were probably invited to being Christians, or we are just born into it, and we have been this way all our lives. But then, if we are being honest, there is sometimes this little quiet desire that what if you can just leave Christianity altogether, because it looks like it's not as nice or as bright as it was promised to be. So you believe that probably there's something better out there. Like you see maybe your friends and other people, and their lives look amazing, and then you're the one that's here having all this. Like it doesn't look something that you desire anymore. But could the problem rather be that could the problem be that it's not that you're in the wrong place, but it's just that you haven't actually let God come into your heart and form a real relationship with you and know you for who you really are and bond with you. Probably God has so much plans for his children, or for his children, but then not everyone opens up to him to accept those plans and to let him get involved in your life. And it's just about, you go to church, you pray, you're checking all the boxes, but then aside that, there is no real relationship. And it makes sense when you feel empty, because you say that you're serving or you're a Christian, but beyond the normal acts, there is nothing really there. So the truth is, we can't judge Christianity or judge God when we haven't fully I don't know if I say tested him, but when we haven't fully let him come in. You can't say that he is this or this when you haven't really given them open the door for him to come in. Like I said in my last video, he stands at the door and knock, and whoever lets him come in, he will dine with him and he with him. So if we haven't, this is like being very logical here, that I can't judge someone without really knowing them. So probably I believe that before we make the real judgment of if God is good or bad, or if Jesus is good or bad, we should actually let them do what they said, like fully experience them, fully experience who God is, fully let him come into your life. And then if after all that still he isn't as they said he is, then we have every right to be like, I'm not interested. But anyway, what do you think? Just drop a comment in the chat and let's get the conversation started. If you like this video, leave a like and smash the subscribe button so we keep the channel growing. But then, is there even a point in choosing Christianity in the first place? Watch this video and I'll see you there. Peace.